All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. The book is entitled "Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father" at Amazon Kindle Create Space. The link is in the description box below. Right. Um, Younger women versus, I guess, young women versus grown women. What I'm basically saying is people who are younger than you versus people who are your age, people in your age and maybe above, right? So when you're dating somebody younger than you, you're gonna, in some ways, think they're less mature. They're they may need less to be happy as far as material things. When you're dating somebody your age or older, their standards as far as material things are probably higher, and they're supposed to be more mature. Now, if you meet the problem that some guys have is that as far as maturity goes, um, grown grown women or older women and young are just as mature as young women. They're just immature in different ways. They're very similar but different ways because they may have age may have given them more material possessions, but they still have the same childish ideologies. So, you know, she may have a 30-year old experiences, but still has a 20-year-old ideology, right? So that's in some ways why some guys like deal younger versus older, or their age group, because that's the issue. That's very much so an issue. And sometimes um, lack of experiences is why people don't like younger women, because you can expose them to new things, but for some it's a cool new experience, and for others they tend to bring their youthful immaturity, or into they bring childish actions into a grown setting, and it's embarrassing. And you're like, this is you can't keep doing that. And though they may be young, they're still an adult. So you're like, you gotta act like an adult, but at the same time, they may have not been able. They may have not had all of those adult experiences to actually be a full-fledged adult in certain things. When it comes to looks, it's a depends on the guy. Like me personally, I need a woman who's grown, who's my age group, who looks grown. Do I like younger chicks? Yeah, they cool, physically, but I'm not gonna lie. There's a certain age that I just don't touch. Like from a certain age and under, I just don't touch, cause they look like fucking kids to me. They act like fucking kids to me. It's like hanging around a fucking kid. They may be young and some be like, oh, she grown, she over 18. Yeah, she over 18, but that don't make, she's not a grown fucking woman. You know, some people, she got that young body. And I get it. Some young girls got young, tighter bodies than some grown or older women. But at the same time, that grown sexy is still sexy than a motherfucker. Let's be real. Like, you gotta you gotta to sift through the bullshit, because there are people who take poor care of themselves in both age groups. There are great looking young women, and there are great looking grown women, right? Younger women, and they're great looking older women. And they're also horrible looking younger women and horrible looking older women. So, that's a definite issue you're going to have to take into consideration. And one thing about younger women is sometimes younger women don't take as good care of themselves because they're younger. And because they're younger, you can see their fall off coming before they can. And you can warn them, but they ain't trying to hear you, right? So many younger women tell me, I'm pretty, I'm sexy, I'm fine, because I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm this age. And you're looking at them like, you've been looking in the mirror so long, you can't tell that you fucking up, that you done fell off, can you? But see, older women, grown women, they're like, look, I gotta tighten this up, I gotta, and it's actually a little bit more sexy because she's cognizant of the things that she has to tighten up on, to the point where ain't some things nothing may really be wrong with her, but she's trying to make sure it's tight and she looks her best, you know, uh, every day. She's planning to look her best tomorrow too. She's not gonna give a day to just blow it all, right, and start that cycle. So that's one of the differences. The other thing is parenting. Some young women don't have children. Some older women don't have children. And usually they're both selfish. You can understand it with a selfish younger woman because it's all about her. You can't necessarily understand it with a selfish older woman because it's like you do realize this is why nobody gets along with you, because you're too old to not understand give and take. You know. Um, and now when it comes to actual parenting, people with kids, right? You have an experience versus experience. You know, some um, younger ladies are teachable, and some of them know a lot because they've been taking care of their siblings. Depends on which child they were. So it's a mixed bag. She might be good with kids. She might be bad with kids. She just might be learning kids. And then on the other side, you got the people who are how can I say this? Who know what they're doing, or they just have kids and they done messed up because they're looking for somebody to come along and parent their kids because they're not a good parent. So it's like, it's a mixed bag on that end too. Depends on which one you dealing with is how you're gonna react. Now, um, taste. When I was talking about materialism, sometimes younger women are learning their taste. So it's more so expansive, you know, and they're willing to try something cheap to something expensive, and you can try things cheap to expensive with them because they're trying to actually get to know you and get to know their own taste, whether that be restaurants, concerts, dates, stuff like that, like foods and drinks and all that other stuff. Older women normally they know their taste, and some of them um, want to live with that champagne taste because they didn't get it and they feel like they're entitled to it, so they force people, or they don't necessarily force people. They make people put people in a position where they think that they're entitled to the best of the best of the best of the best because of X, Y, and Z, when that doesn't necessarily mean that they are willing to put in on it. That's another thing. You know, um, who's gonna work with you? Young women, younger girls are probably gonna work with you because they're still growing and building. So if you're ahead of them, they can see what you have. You probably have more than them, and they're sometimes easier to grow with because of that. But then you have people in your age group or maybe older than you who um, they may not necessarily want to build or grow anything. They may just be tired of their life, and they may be building, they may not, they may be on sabbatical. Hey, they may be pushing it real hard and may not have time for you because now they're really trying to put the pedal to the metal. So it's there's pros and cons in everything, and that's why I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying from my experiences that these are some of the things you're gonna have to take into consideration. So I'm out.